Hi there, I'm Scott Brown, the developer for the game Journey for the Crown, and this is my 16th devlog. Now, I've been really busy the last few weeks. I ended up adding 2 new zones to the game, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but I ended up piecing together some of the main quest line, and I decided this would be pretty cool to take you on a little side quests in a way, and teach you some of the story in this area called Vagland. Now, I ended up adding the Polar Wastes, which is an area up here in the very, very north. You can't, originally you weren't going to be able to go to it, but now you can, and there's also going to be a dungeon called Hail that's at the very top of it. Now, this is where the Frost Giants are, and it's part of your main quest line where you have to get a runic inscription, and in order to get that, you have to make a deal with the Earl of Vagland. Without getting into too much detail with that, I think the story is going to be interesting to play out, and it's going to be a lot better than what I originally planned. Now, in order to start with this new questline stuff, I ended up adding a hall here in Vagland, which is where you meet the Earl and you get to see what he's all about. He's got a lot of ladies there, kind of at his disposal. But while I was also doing that, I decided to add in 2 new player characters to the game, and this had introduced some issues that I didn't quite think of yet, and that was what happens when you have too many guys on your team already. How do I create dialogue that kind of deals with all this sort of stuff? So instead, I ended up popping up the in interface, which allows you to drag and drop characters in and out of your group, because there's a maximum of 5 players you can have on your team. Technically, I have 7 slots, but they're kind of reserved if I decide to maybe open it up to 6 or 7. But right now, the aim is 5. Now, as I introduced this new city here, I ended up having to do a lot of new art pieces for outfits and stuff like that. And I couldn't just recycle the things I'd already used, so I had to use things with lots of fur, different types of shoulders, and I did shave some time off by utilizing like existing chainmail outfits and just starting to put like belts and Vikingish kind of stuff on top of it. So that worked out well. Now, I did do a bit of coding as well during this time. And one thing that I ended up adding was the ability to send people back to the inn without your choice. So say you were served an interesting problem here where, because you're up in this frozen polar waste area, maybe you have one of your team members decides he wants to quit because your leadership or your reputation isn't quite high enough. I ended up having to code this feature in there so that, you know, if you didn't answer them right or try and solve the scenario, they might just quit on you, and now you have to go all the way back and go pick them up, or figure out a way to resolve the situation the next time you encounter it. Now, while I was messing around in this coded area, I decided to do permadeath as well. There's going to be certain scenarios in the game where an event could cause one of your characters to die, or maybe one of your choices ended up killing them. And so I added that in there, and it'll be interesting to see where I like to plug that in. I do want my story and the choices and events that you do to be and feel impactful. So not to aim on the cruel side of things, but I think if you make poor choices, it should result in people dying in the game, and I think that just fits perfectly in this story. Now, in order to get all these scenes looking as sharp as I did, I had to make a lot of new assets and use some different textures, mostly ice and that sort of stuff. But, you know, some people are actually watching me last week put this all together on Twitch, and it was really cool. One of them ended up, I guess he was just a little bored on what he was working on and decided to make these stalagmites, I believe is what they're called. These little sharp-looking icicles. Anyways, he generously donated that to me, and I plugged it in. It looks pretty cool. It was a much-needed upgrade to the scenes I found. Now, I even went a little bit further with some other stuff. I started putting pillars in here, even added this throne. And as you can see here, I got the Frost King, which you have to battle. Now, he is he's very tough to beat. I am completely undergeared. I think I've got a series of like 1s and 13 level characters. I'm not able to beat the guy. He does have this incredibly strong area effect freezing capability. So part of the mechanic is to survive through it as it completely demolishes your entire team. Now, I designed this ability to hit anybody inside the zone. It's a very powerful spell. So the idea is to kind of bulk or mitigate as much damage as you can and heal up. But you're stunned during the whole thing, so the idea is to survive through it and then recover. Now that's it for this devlog. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, like I was saying earlier, I am on Twitch all the time here. If you do feel like taking a break from YouTube and want to check out my Twitch channel, the link is in the description there. And I'd love to have you come by and shoot the shit with me and see how things are progressing. Even get to see some of the stuff I don't show up here as well. And it's also really interesting to see how things are put together. You'd be surprised how difficult all of this is. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope to catch you in the next video. Take care.